Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast.
Biscuit for the biscuit.
Oh,
Adam Bush here.
Chris Munch is my name.
Chris Munch is your name, and our pal Gary Hornstein.
Gary Hornstein
He's back
Gary
there tucked
is
behind the
sitting
gear.
in the corner.
He is. He's behind
Cozy.
the camera. This is a podcast all about a couple of guys, Chris and I, who left our jobs working at a church for 15, 20 years to
20 plus.
pursue a profession in comedy.
I worked there for 22 and a half years, and you always say 20 years.
I'm sorry.
It was 22 and a half.
I'm sorry. The half is important
There's
to you?
2.5 more years of faithful service
Okay, I'm sorry.
that you're just dismissing.
Well, I mean, I was around for those last 2.5 years. Were you faithful? Were you serving?
I think so. I tried.
You were.
I tried.
Maybe
you did.
Adam's accounting for the vacations.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You had that big break in the middle where nobody could find you.
No, I don't know. I don't remember that.
That's 6 months.
Just disappeared for a month.
Yeah. So this podcast follows our journey into comedy. I'm a stand-up comedian, and Chris is an actor and a stand-up. And Gary's our friend who produces this podcast. This podcast is brought to you in part by Northern Creative Video Production at its finest.
You said in part.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because
we have a huge...
huge news for the pod. We have our first sponsor.
Second sponsor.
We have our second sponsor.
sponsor.
We have our second sponsor, and we're not going to tell you who it is.
No,
It'll be-
that was part of the deal.
We don't.
They sponsor us, but they don't want to know. They don't want anybody to know who they are.
An angel sponsor?
It's an angel sponsor.
They're not very good at
They
business.
don't know how sponsorships work.
No. And I was like, that sounds great. So
Yeah.
you're going to sponsor the podcast, and I don't have to do anything.
And we don't have to say.
We don't even have to talk about it. Yeah. Yeah. So, you can find more of Gary's work, graphics, video production, and animation at northern.work. Check that out. All right. Today we are answering the question, what is a warm-up comic?
Are we not actually talking about the sponsorship?
No, we had to put it in the middle. We put the sponsor in the
I don't know how sponsorships work.
No, it's not specific. Like you could do it at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Should we have a little bit of free range here. Should we just
We should get
You're going to have to stay tuned.
a big time celebrity to just say the sponsor in that. And
and then it'll be just like
We sponsor someone else to talk about it.
we're gonna
We're
lose
the middleman.
we'll
we
lose-
pay them
we
more
lose
than what
money.
we make. Yeah.
Yeah. We lose money on this. Yeah. Okay. So I'll say it like that then. Risk It for the Biscuit is brought to you by Northern Creative
Yes.
Video Production and Animation. Check them out at northern.work and the Looney Bin Tulsa
Yes.
Comedy
Woo.
Club, which is my home club. And there'll be an ad for them in the middle.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Today we are answering the question, what is a warm-up comic? Because I did warm-up for the Mike Huckabee
Yes,
Show
That's right.
last weekend. So
Yes.
we're going to...
That's a Mike Huckabee Show. That's a nationally
It is. Yeah.
broadcast show.
Yeah. And it's...
what network is
How
he
many?
on?
Do they know how many viewers that typically is?
I don't know. I should... Maybe I
Do
could
they
look
share
online.
those numbers?
Not with the warm-up comics. They weren't just like... it's on TBN.
I guess, but you're the warm-up comment.
So will you be on
You're not even
TBN?
won't even on.
No,
on-
I'm not on it. Yeah, we got to talk about...
I'm sorry.
You're getting way
I'm
into
getting
it.
way ahead of it.
It's not called What is a Comic on a Late Night Show. It's called What is a Warm-Up Comic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we're going to answer that question.
Okay,
And
so
then
being on the Mike Huckabee Show wasn't that big of a deal because you weren't actually on the show.
wow.
I mean, it was a big deal, but
Well, it was an event or something,
was-
right?
Oh my God. Okay. You know what? And then at the end, we got a comment of the week, and it's a unique one, which is going to be really fun.
that'll be fun.
So are you ready?
Let's do this thing.
Okay. Here we go.
So I said it wasn't a big deal because I was making it a big deal, and then I realized like, oh, you weren't actually on the show because I was talking about it's like nationally televised.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so
I get that.
It's still a big deal, obviously.
it's different.
but it's different than what I was
Yeah.
picturing. So you were on the Mike Huckabee show. You're warmed up the studio audience, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Right. So you just come out
Right.
and warm and get them laughing and going and all that
Exactly.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just warming them up. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is that? What did you do?
So the Mike Huckabee Show is a weekly late night show in the style of The Tonight Show.
So it's just one show a week?
Yeah, they only do one a week. They do
Oh,
it. They
interesting.
film it on Friday and they shoot it on Saturday.
Okay.
Mike Huckabee, of course, is the former
Wait,
governor.
they film on Friday and shoot on Saturday, or air it on Saturday?
I'm sorry, air it on Saturday. Yeah, they film it and then they shoot it.
And they shoot the film.
Sorry. Yeah. So Mike Huckabee is the former governor of Arkansas.
Yeah.
And then he was a Republican presidential candidate
yeah.
twice.
Okay.
McCain was, I think he was just second to McCain that year.
And then just kind of parlayed that into late night
basically
show.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're on their 7th season.
Oh,
Is it
wow.
a political show or
It is. It's a political show. It's a very right-wing
Okay.
political Christian show. I went to see the Tonight Show when Conan was the host, and it was pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'll say about this. I'll try to put pictures if you watch this on YouTube, this podcast. But one main difference, if you've ever seen a late night show, you'll walk like Colbert or in my case, Tonight Show. I walked in, I was like, wow, this room is small. It's really nice,
Yeah.
like really shiny, but very small.
Yeah.
And this one was humongous. It
Oh,
was
right. You're saying the Conan show was super small.
the Conan Show was super small. The Huckabee Show was ginormous.
Yeah.
Like it was.
like
it
the
was
set was
yeah,
huge?
the set was huge.
Yeah.
It was so big that I said to the stage manager, when I go out there, like, how long is the applause going to last? Because it's going to take me a while to get
Oh,
from
wow.
backstage to
the front of the stage.
to the front of the stage.
Yeah.
And she was just like, she said, I'll send you out early, and they kind of know because a lot of these people come every week. Yeah, so that's what the show is. So they do like that show. They had a couple of politicians on talking about very relevant information, like current.
Yeah. Current
stuff.
issues.
Yeah, there's like something going on with the border right now. I apologize that I don't know that much about politics, but there's a Trump bill that is ending and it changes things on the border. And so they were talking about that. And then I missed the first guy because I was still backstage. So, and then they do things like this aired on National Apple Pie Day. So they showed you how to make an apple pie.
Oh, gotcha.
And then they had a country music star who they interviewed, and he did 2 songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who
So
was the star? What was the?
Yeah. Who was he?
You should probably just
I
look
didn't-
it up.
I
You didn't
know
meet this
him.
person? You didn't
It was probably like
connect?
Chris
You guys aren't
Stapleton.
best
Or,
friends? Was it
Well,
the
how many-
Swan Brothers?
it was. I would have known them.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have known them. Yeah. So
Toby Keith.
you know what? It's Clint Black.
Oh,
Oh,
I know Clint.
So yeah. So show's about 2 hours. So it's outside of Nashville, TBN Studios. So I flew out there and I flew out there. I think day of Friday, and I pull up to the back of the studio. I go inside. I've got like an hour and a half where I'm just like, hey, in the screen room. If you've ever been to TBN, which I have, because TBN is the parent company to Yippee, which is where Pete and Penelope show is on.
Yeah.
So I've been to another campus, but this is really nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice. And so I went in there, and they just had gigantic green room where everybody was hanging out in. They had this like charcuterie board and all these snacks and stuff. And everybody was
Charcuterie.
everybody was very nice.
Yeah.
It was the opposite of when I was on Broadway,
Yeah.
where like the room was like, that toilet is broken.
Yeah. Everything's super small.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was funny.
But the people were nice though on Broadway.
Oh, so
Yeah.
nice. So
Yeah,
nice. Yeah. Everybody was so nice. So then I'm first. So my warm-up comic's job is to warm up the crowd. So you met him too, but I have a friend, Robert G. Lee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at that wedding. He's a comic. He spent a very large has spent a large portion of his career doing warm up for. I might get some of these wrong, but Frasier, I think, was one.
Wasn't it? Was it Friends?
Maybe he did some. It shows
Some big name
every
like sitcoms.
shows
you
like
would
Everybody Loves Raymond. I think that was one of them. Cheers. Frasier, shows like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a bunch of them.
Yeah, King of Queens might have been one. But anyway, even if it's not exactly those, it was shows like that.
Yeah.
And you just come out and you're just like, who's excited?
Yeah.
You know, and there are different kinds of warm-up comics. He was a little bit more like, anybody got a birthday?
Yeah. He talked a lot about doing improvisation stuff and like, but he would do that. Was it like 5 days a week?
Yes.
So it was like every day.
Yeah.
You got to talk for.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of breaks in between.
Right.
I don't know, different.
Yeah, his
set changes or whatever.
I mean, he was a professional warm-up comic.
Yeah,
and there were different ways, different things he had to do throughout the night, and like he'd have to stay the whole show.
Yeah, the whole taping.
Yeah, and so and a lot of it is just about keeping the crowd excited. Mm-hmm. So at the Mike Huckabee Show, they do it a little differently. I just come out right off the top. They play the intro video. I come out and I do 7 minutes of just funny material. Mm-hmm. And then they have an announcer come out, and that announcer is part of the show, like Higgins is on the Tonight Show. Mm-hmm. And that announcer does more like, anybody got a birthday? Like, it's just a different dynamic. Mm-hmm. And then when they have breaks between the segments, they just have a group of people who come out and throw T-shirts. And like one time they had like the announcer said something like he had some riffing that he did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I go out there and just to kind of paint a picture, it's a theater and it's there a couple hundred people. Mike Huckabee's crowd, they're older.
Right. Yeah.
So and it's it's the rightest wing you can get. Like it's at the tip of the wing. Yeah. I don't know if that's
like
what
alt-right?
No, I don't know what alt-right is.
I wouldn't say maybe violent.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like the Proud Boys or whatever? No.
Yeah. Maybe just say they're a conservative audience.
Very conservative audience.
Traditionally conservative.
Yeah. And
no one had pickets or...
What'd you say?
They didn't have pickets. They weren't
pickets.
Like yelling abortion, anti-abortion stuff.
Did your transgender jokes go over very well?
I did not do. I do have one transgender joke, and I did not do it. No. So 7 minutes, which is a good amount of time. I broke it up into 3 sections. I did baby stuff, kid stuff.
Oh yeah,
some parenting stuff. And kind of started off with like, I'm excited because my wife is pregnant. We're going to have a baby. Oh, yeah. Do that whole thing. And then I did cancer stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
And then I ended it with, I've got a couple, some closers. So anyway, so family stuff was great. Mm-hmm. If you've seen any of my set, a bunch of jokes about Lou and potty training and stuff like that, it was great. Then I get to the cancer stuff, and I said something else I'm excited about. I'm a cancer survivor, and I'm celebrating 37 years cancer-free. And they're just like big applause. Yeah. And had a couple of jokes right off the top of that got good laughter. And then I got to about the 3rd joke, and I was like, they don't want to talk about cancer. And I mean, they're older, so there might. I was thinking this in real time. Like there might be people in this audience that have cancer right now,
or loved ones.
Lost a lot of friends with cancer.
Yes,
Touchy subject.
Yeah. That is something I'm learning. Yeah. We did a show the other day, right. And I did like 15 minutes.
You did a lot of cancer.
I did like 15 minutes of cancer material.
Keep pushing on the cancer.
And you said afterwards, the next day, you're just like, I wish you would have done more cancer material. But I'm writing a special about having cancer, and I'm learning that
what's the pain threshold there? How much can you kind of stay in that genre or stay in that topic?
It's pretty low.
Yeah.
Pretty low.
Especially with like, I always said like in my last special on Who Brought the Kid, I was like, if I can get people to laugh about my dad's death, I will be really, really happy about that. Yeah. And I did.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
But there is like going to a special expectation is really important. Like just like understanding what's about to happen here and that this is a storytelling comedy show versus like this guy coming up for 7 minutes of warm up.
Yeah.
I'm learning about that. So I bailed on it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And thankfully I had thought it through. I thought some of this might not go over very well. And if it doesn't, I'm going to pivot.
Yeah.
So I said, last thing I'm excited about is, or I told this joke about how like a couple of years ago on my birthday, I was in Australia and my friend said, do you want me to take you to a real Australian cafe? And she took me to Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Funniest joke of the night.
Really?
Yes. You would have thought I just wrote the best joke ever.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So when I did that joke, I was
I would think that they wouldn't think that was that funny.
Why?
Because I would think they probably think Outback Steakhouse is a really great, like, Australian cuisine.
yeah, but I think the context, that's a good thought. I think the context of like, you don't think like, if I'm in Australia, somebody's going to take, like I can go to Outback.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. You want me to take you to an Australian cafe? Like,
Well, it's like to me, it's the same joke as like, hey, we're on the East Coast. I would love some great seafood. And they go, yeah, we got to, well, let's go to, and they show up and it's Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would think the people that would be in the audience of the Mike Huckabee Show would be like, yeah, we love Red Lobster. It's awesome.
Yeah. Now you're making,
Chris,
you're
that's
wondering
so
why they
mean.
I don't
Well,
know.
I'm confused because I thought you were going to say that joke bombed. And I was like,
No.
They thought that was amazing.
It was a great joke.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I did that. And then I finished on my dry bar joke, which is about somebody mistakenly they thought I was a drag bar performer versus a dry bar performer. Right. They loved it.
I was going to say, that sounds like they would love that joke.
Yeah. And I did run that joke by the producer before I did it.
Yeah, that's smart.
And I like typed it all out. I said, is this joke okay? And she was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah. So I did it and, in on a laugh, we've talked about this a lot. Anything that isn't
Did you say Madam Bush?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been ending it by saying like, I'm Madam Bush. Yeah. Like, which is hard to hear anyway, but yeah. And so a couple of things that I loved is, the announcer, like, so I was just like, give it up for your announcer. And we crossed paths and he kind of, he's an older gentleman. He grabbed my arm or my shoulder, was just like, give it up for Adam Bush. Hilarious. And then he went up and did his thing. And then afterwards he goes, hey man, how'd your set go? I didn't see it. I was just like, dude, you're a showman.
Hilarious.
About Adam Bush. This guy is full of integrity.
Yeah. So,
I didn't say, I don't even know you.
Yeah. So, so that's how it went. And thankfully, like the stuff that didn't hit the best was in the middle. So I started off strong and I ended strong. Yeah. And
were those your C jokes?
Yeah. Well, man, I don't.
Yeah.
Not for that audience, sure.
Yeah.
Maybe my D jokes.
So did you find it hard to warm them up, or were they ready to laugh? Like, did you feel like it's like, man, this is taking like work to get them going?
It wasn't as bad as I thought. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't as great as I thought it could be.
Sure.
Yeah. So I thought, oh yeah, like I don't host that much anymore.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, that's right. This is what the host does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's good. Which I'm doing. Yeah. This weekend, that'll already have passed by the time you hear this podcast. But this weekend, I'm opening for you in North Dakota, and it did remind me like, oh yeah, I gotta. Yeah, we got to get them going.
Yeah.
So we might even have like maybe the pastor come out or something and maybe make a funny joke or something might help. Just like the whole show.
Oh, for our show?
Yeah. Maybe just have him come out and just say like, let's get excited or something. Yeah. Like that helps a lot.
Jason, he would do that.
Yeah.
A hype man?
Hype man.
Kind of a hype man,
so you bring out the hype man and then you bring up the warm-up comic.
Yeah.
So you got it. You got it toasty in there. You warmed him up.
Yep.
Ready.
So a warm-up comic, is that a type of comic or a type of gig?
I guess it'd be a type of gig. Yeah. I don't think anybody would say they might say I'm a warm-up comic.
Well, you were talking about the guy that does this 5 days a week or something earlier. If that's the aspiring gig, I just want to be a warm-up comic.
I don't know that somebody would say, I want to be a warm-up comic, but someone might say, this is a good gig.
Yeah, it's a really good gig.
Yeah, especially if you're in LA or New York and it's a daytime.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the biggest dreams.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever watch Crashing Pete Holmes' show, which I don't specifically recommend in regards it's got some vulgar language, but
so if you're a right wing conservative.
You might not love it. Yeah. You can see what it's like for him to do like an Ellen kind of show.
Oh, what kind of show?
Ellen. Like an Ellen show kind of show, or like a Kelly Clarkson. Like that would be a great gig.
Yeah.
Because you're working out material during the day. You're getting paid really well.
Yeah.
And then you go to the clubs at night.
Yeah.
So, but you have to stay in town. So that is.
I see. You can't travel. I get it.
Robert G. Lee said to me, they are golden handcuffs. That it's cushy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, So we did. So I did the 7 minutes. At the end of it, they were so nice. Everybody at the show was so nice, including Governor Huckabee, which is what they call him. And he was so kind to me. He grew up a preacher, and so we had a lot of similarities there. And I grew up in Louisiana. He was in Arkansas, so we talked for a long time. He came up to me and talked to me, and it was really nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, everybody was so kind.
Yeah,
and the shout out to Wynette Turner who had me on. She said that she'd have me back.
Yeah,
and she even said like I was just like, I had a couple of jokes in the middle that didn't hit. And she said it does take time.
Yeah,
like it's a different kind of audience, and that's why they predominantly have the same warm up all the time. He's just not always available.
Yeah.
And then afterwards they said, Adam, like in front of the crowd, they're like, Adam, are you going to be in the lobby? I was like, yeah. And so I was out there and I passed out my card that had my QR code on it, my special. And then this is what was interesting about the cancer stuff. I had several people come up to me and just ask me a lot about cancer. And in fact, one guy came up to me and a couple, and they said, did you have a Wilms tumor? Which is what I had. That's kidney cancer. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, our nephew or grandson is walking through that now.
Oh my gosh.
And so I don't really know what to do with this, because it's like I told you a couple of weeks ago that this girl came up to me crying after my set because her brother is going through cancer. So there's like a connection there.
Yeah.
But is stand-up comedy the right place to be? That's hard.
What I would say is like, I think it's just finding that right ratio, because I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about cancer. I think it's really interesting, and I think it can be very helpful and moving, and funny. Like I think you have good jokes about it. It felt like we just kind of stayed in the same spot though. Yeah. And it wasn't like progressing. It's just kind of like, we're just kind of going over the cancer stuff over and over again. That's why I was joking around with you about it. But like, it's a relevant topic that I think, and it's unique to you and it's your authentic story. Like I would say, just keep working on finding that appropriate thing. Cause I even think you could, I love to pair laughter with sadness. And like, I think you could maybe even just, if you had a longer form show or an opportunity to talk about it a little bit longer, but I think you're set up beautifully to laugh, and then bring them to kind of a poignant moment with all of that. Yeah. And I think that could be amazing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. And just figuring that out. So
it's hard in a 7-minute set though, or whatever to take them to the place.
And maybe
like that.
maybe that's not the right spot.
Right. Exactly. That's probably not the right.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap this up, the learnings I had was it was really fun to really like not have anything new, to look at my best jokes and try to just have this really solid 7 minutes. For an audience that doesn't know me, and just see if I could crush. Yeah. And I didn't crush, but I did well.
You did well. That's awesome. Are they having you back on the show, or are they saying back to warm up?
Back to warm up. But my hope is that maybe like shows want you to come on to promote something. So my hope is that the connection is strong enough that maybe when my dry bar is coming out,
that's good.
That could be it. That's or maybe when my Who Brought the Kid comes out, I could.
That's really good. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. And then the other learning was, I've talked about it on this podcast, but like I have a goal that within the next 4 years I'll be on the Tonight Show. And it was a very similar experience in that I was working on like a really similar length of sets. People don't know me, being kind of far away from them because there's a lot of cameras there kind of in front of me. And then, there were similarities.
Yeah, right. And like, Isn't the kind of seating kind of strange? I don't know, maybe not in this scenario, but I feel like sometimes that studio seating is really strange.
It's just kind of far away.
Yeah, it's far away. You got cameras in between you and the audience. And then
Right.
sometimes it feels like it's like they're packed into a little square that's kind of like off to the side or something.
I think I have some pictures that I can post on here, but just for, it was kind of like the stage was sort of an oval, and then they were kind of squared off.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of distance there.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. So
Congratulations. That's
thank
cool.
you. And I'm excited to do it again. Shout out to Michelle Van Dusen, our friend, who's kind of the one who connected me. And I'm excited to do it again.
It's great.
Yep. All right. You ready to get to the end?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We got
a comment of the week.
Comment of the week. Yeah. That I don't know what it is.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe I kind of.
Oh, hey, let's do our Looney Bin promo here.
Sure.
All right. This is our first promo or sponsor. This is our first sponsor.
First sponsor.
Second sponsor. Sorry, Gare. Second sponsor of the podcast. And this podcast is brought to you in part by Looney Bin Comedy Club.
Looney Bin
in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Did you want me to kind of hype?
I do like that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Let's go.
Yeah. Tulsa's oldest comedy club, a premier comedy club where you can see amazing comics, including myself, regularly. And if you want to check out the full lineup of comics, you can go to Looney Bin Comedy. Let me make sure I get that right. LooneyBinComedy.com. Click on the Tulsa tab, and you can not only see who's coming, nationally touring headliners.
Yeah.
You can see who's coming, but you can buy tickets, save yourself a trip to the box office when you get there. You'll already have the tickets. It's not going to be sold out whenever you get there. And I personally know, because I've helped book some of them, we got some killer comics coming up this year.
Yeah, when you think Tulsa Comedy Club, you might think, oh, you're getting some people who nobody knows who they are. They're just lower tier comedians.
Right.
That's not the case.
It's not the case. No.
We're getting like legitimate, like awesome touring comics.
That's right. A couple of comics I know that are coming this next year. Brian Bates. Who's on the Nateland podcast. Opens for Neighbor Gotzi. Very hilarious.
Very good.
Aaron Weber, same deal. He's on the Nateland podcast. And then we've got maybe I'm not supposed to say this one. I won't say this one yet because I don't know if it's not locked in. So
I just did this.
You did.
I don't know how that works. You're supposed to zip it.
You're supposed to zip it and lock the key.
I just did that.
If you're just listening, Chris,
it's a different system
kind of locked it
that I use
instead of zipping it
to not say anything.
Couple of things. If you want to come on Wednesday is service industry night at the Looney Bin. So if you work, if a first responder, or if you work in the service industry, like a bartender or wait staff, then call ahead and you can get free or discounted tickets. Just tell them that you're in the service industry or a first responder. Same thing on Thursday night. It's ladies' night. Ladies' night. So you can call. You have to call ahead. And you can get free or discounted tickets. So check out LooneyBinComedy.com and you can see me.
Well, it sounds like Steven needs to show up on ladies' night.
So,
ladies.
That'd be amazing.
Well, hello there.
Yeah. And big shout out thank you for our first sponsor. Second sponsor.
Right. Second sponsor.
You can say first paying sponsor.
Okay, first paying. Yeah. The first hard dollar sponsor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Looney Bin.
Thank you. And time for comment of the week.
Comment of the week.
Here we go.
Okay.
This week's comment of the week is a unique one in that it really involves both of us.
Okay.
So you on Instagram posted a chat video.
Okay, I thought it was
MLM.
Yes, let's go.
Exactly. Right. Yes. So I thought it was really funny. And so I posted
which Chad video was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, I could probably tell you. Let's see here. Well, I think it was the last one. So it was that one.
Okay, yeah.
So
my mentor Tristan.
How did you come up with where did that come from?
So I had a friend. I think John Bunn maybe said something about he had the idea of like my mentor going to prison or something like that, or an associate I'm working with going to prison, or I forget what it was. And so, yeah, that was just kind of the initial idea. And so then, yeah, I named him Tristan and thought, yeah, that's basically the idea.
So I posted just a comment.
Yeah.
I just said, I hate him.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I do too. And
Yeah.
I'm in total agreement.
Yeah. No one likes Chad.
I want to punch Chad in the face when I
Right.
watch the videos.
Yeah.
Like, I get it.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah.
He sucks. Yeah. Now, I would assume, and
Right.
apparently incorrectly, that people understand,
You're talking about the character.
well, that or that I'm being sarcastic.
Right.
Which hindsight's 2020.
You're being playful.
Is that I'm being playful? I would
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah.
Um,
Can't assume on the internet, on
Yeah.
the interwebs.
and someone did understand that I was being playful.
Yeah.
Because someone responded to me with a laughing emoji and said, "Me too."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then somebody posted, "If you hate him so much, why don't you just leave?" I was just like, "Oh, okay, that person."
That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
But I get it.
And then another person understood what I was doing.
Okay.
And just 2 laughing emojis and a clap,
Yeah.
just like they get it. And then another person, a laughing emoji.
Okay.
But then someone named Brat Pat 2
Okay.
said, "Then don't watch him." 3 exclamation points. "You must have absolutely no sense of humor." All caps. "How boring you must be."
Get him. Oh, Chad Nation is all over you.
Jeez. Jeez. And then they just a little correction. "And to hate someone is evil."
Oh
Just
my
finish
gosh.
it out
So
with that.
good.
Yep. Jesus
good.
wouldn't hate Chad. Jesus
Yeah,
loves
that's right.
Chad.
Jesus would have had dinner with Chad.
Yeah. So I just said, "Oh, sorry guys. I was making a
Did you
joke."
respond?
I did.
Oh,
I said,
okay.
"Sorry guys. I was being sarcastic. Chris is my best friend. I'm sorry." And I didn't really get a response. It's like a correction in a newspaper.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
No one
the,
cares.
the damage
And no one
has
came
been
back
done.
for that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so
But to
funny.
clarify, you love to hate Chad.
I do love to hate.
So I have seen people that make comments like yours, and they'll just put a laughy emoji at the end of it. And
not me.
You're not interested in that.
I didn't do that. I probably should have. Yeah. Which, the more
Yeah.
comments you have, the more the algorithm picks you up. So maybe I helped you out.
You did help me out. I
Yeah.
appreciate your help.
So
I support it.
yeah.
It was funny. I didn't see all of that. I feel like I remember seeing your comment, and then I thought maybe you told me that someone, but I have seen it in other places where people will say things, and then it's so funny to me how we just all these people just start going, well, then why don't you just they're just everyone's so mean.
Yeah, so mean.
It's so wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. All right. Hey, thanks for checking out Risk It for the Biscuit. We appreciate you being a part of our journey.
Yeah.
Our little podcast that is growing. Hope that you're liking the episodes. If you do, please share them with people. It's very helpful for us. Rating them is a really big deal. That really helps spread the word for people to find them. And then if you want to follow me at Hey Adam Bush on all those social medias, and Chris is at
Chris Munch Comedy.
Munch Comedy. And then you can follow Gary at northern.work on Instagram. Oh, and then finally, hey, if you're in Tulsa, August 26th, I'm opening up for Dustin Nickerson at the Bricktown Comedy Club. Please, 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 please come to that show. You can find your tickets at dustinnickerson.com. And it's a 13 and up ages show. It's a clean show, and it is at 4 p.m. It's all the way around. It's great.
Family
for
friendly.
Being a family show. Yeah. So come to that. Any parting words? Hey, Chad, any parting words?
Let's go. Rise and grind.
I hate that ending.